Oh, aadizooke. And I think of the many legends my grandmother used to tell us when we were little children growing up. And I remember being told that we had to sit quietly and, and listen. And for many young kids have a hard time sitting up to listen for any great length of time. But I guess we were conditioned to sit and listen, just quiet, and know how meaningful that would become in my life. And I find quiet for myself. That's our topic for this evening. Give yourself time each day for silence. And part of that silence is being able to sit quietly and try to control the flow of information that's coming to your thoughts, to your brain. Try and make a clear space in your thoughts. So whatever I think it was, that conditioning being brought to my grandmother's, in front of our grandmother to listen to the legends that helped shape my capacity, ability to clear my thoughts. Because uh, each time that she started to tell a legend, it seemed like I had to clear my thoughts to make room for the information that's going to be coming in, so I can really look at it. I think each one of us has that capacity and ability to be able to push the thoughts aside for a moment while we're listening to somebody that's speaking, sharing something. So our ability to clear our thoughts is always there. And for me, that's one of the things that I started to practice went when I went fasting, especially, just to try and listen to whatever it was that's out there, rather than listening for the normal sounds of this world of form, but to go beyond, push aside those sounds that we would normally hear. I was amazed that when I was in the city, like last night, I stepped outside and all I could hear were the birds and the frogs where we were, in spite of all the hustle and bustle that's going on. There's a train yard close by. You can hear every now and then the trains backing up, back and forth, and all the squeaky sounds. But the birds, frogs, seem to just take over in that place where I was at when I stepped outside. I was amazed at how loud that they can be right inside that city there. It's amazing. And the sounds. But I know I can even to try and hear something beyond those physical sounds, to get in touch with the spirit that's there. I mean, it's always a challenge to move in that quiet space. So as I learned a little bit about how important it was, because when for a long time, I drifted away, tried to surround myself with as as much people as I can, right until when I'm ready to go to sleep. There's always people around. I thought that was how I'm gonna learn is to surround myself and be around as many people as I can for as much as I'm capable of being around as many. I tried to create settings where people would come together, just converse, many different conversations going on at the same time. But it took me a while to just pull back and start listening to myself. To fasting was one of the ways I remember sitting there, and there were many times where I wanted to talk, and times where I lit my pipe for the opportunities for me to talk. There was nobody else around. I was avoid any type of human contact. So I want to make sure that nobody hears me or sees me where I'm at. So so I limit my desire to want to speak and voice the thoughts that were going through my head. I knew the opportunity would come again where I would have to light my pipe, and I wanted to express those thoughts verbally in the language that I felt comfortable with. But when I first went out, it was English was still very much predominant in my language because of residential school being told not to speak Ojibwe. And it was toward the end of my fast where I realized that I was being taught all along, and I was able to express myself in Ojibwe. But I think that to me, it's at those quiet moments where you don't realize that there's somebody speaking to you or talking to you, and that those messages came through. And all of a sudden, I could speak the language. And I remember growing up as a young man, uh, having to have anybody verbally teach me or say those words. But I understood too that my desire to connect to the creator didn't come from those times where I'm speaking or those sounds are coming, because it's those times where I believe when I'm quiet, when I'm sleeping, when I wanted to go to sleep, I would make every effort to clear my thoughts, to push my thoughts away, thought that might keep me up. I didn't want to stay up. I wanted to go to sleep. And primarily, I was I was scared. I was scared of dark. I didn't want to be. It felt more safer if I was sleeping. If I could sleep right through the dark, and I don't have to experience the terror that that's going through my mind. But I had instilled in myself the way the world functions. Why I had so much fear. But each time I was there for 4 nights. Every morning, I was just amazed that I was able to go through it. For the first few nights, I would get up in the middle of the night, but my thoughts weren't on the fears. I was concerned about the cold that I felt on my body. I was chilled to the bone. And I had a pile of wood there I could light if I wanted to. But I also remembered the elders telling me to pray and ask the Creator to take the cold away. I felt cold. So that's what I would do. And by the time I finished smoking the pipe, that, that cold would go away. And there would be no fear, and thoughts would be clear. I could put my pipe away and fall right back to sleep. And and every day was just trying to stay quiet and listen, even at the distance when I see different animals, whether they're flying or whether seeing animals swimming in the distance. I would tune in, try and listen. I believe that that ability of pushing, clearing our thoughts is a powerful way of teaching ourselves. And I know that early on, even before my fast, I remembered how important it was for me to take some quiet time for myself. There were times where I was trying to understand my emotions, where sometimes anger would overtake me. And I knew when I was going to get mad. And rather than doing what I would normally do, is burst out, eventually end up behind bars as a result of that anger, I would take the time to go out in the bush and be quiet, just to take some time to myself, no matter who was around. And I had to let my family know that's what I wanted to do, is try and take care of myself. Because I remember one time this young man walked in front of me and he took a big fart in front of my face. And I had a pillow and I was going to throw that pillow. I know that it's not a hard object. You can't really hurt anybody with a pillow. but the thought in my head is I really wanted to hurt him with that pillow. I threw that pillow at him because he took a fart in front of my face. and it took everything I had. I had to put the pillow back in my head. And to know that I wanted to hurt another human being was a scary moment. And I knew I had to do something about it. I can't just dismiss it. And I was able to say, hey, I'm going to go out in the bush, spend the night in the bush and come back. Or, yeah, I got to try to take care of myself. I couldn't express the amount of anger that came through. So even at that point, I learned that taking time, quiet time for yourself, really help you understand, work through the different emotions that sometimes challenge what world, this world form. And I continue to practice that throughout my life, no matter what it is. There's something that comes through overwhelming that I step out quite a time. There's I remember another instance where my emotions that I was feeling, I don't know what I was feeling, but it felt like I wanted to cry. I wanted to cry, but I went out the bush. Just that quiet time alone helped me process whatever it was that was happening in my life. Because when I got there, I couldn't cry. No matter what I tried to do to try to evoke that emotion so I can let it go and yell and scream, that emotion had dissipated. I had understood those things in a different way. So the same thing with anger or pain, any of those things, when you take that bit of time. And my elders used to say that it didn't matter what was happening. When I went to them to ask them for help, they would say, take some quiet time, go in the bush, go for a walk in the bush, go sit down. And didn't understand why they send me out in the bush. So there was a lot of those quiet times I began to realize how important. Today I'm always conscious of. I'm always conscious of that. To give myself some quiet time. And what it means and being like today driving from Winnipeg, my wife, my granddaughter, for a majority of that trip, I think it was a lot of quiet time contemplating. Every now and then start a conversation and talk about things that were happening. But the majority of it was just quiet contemplation and enjoying the scenery. Yeah, so I learned those techniques at an early age, uh, how to quieten your mind, and give yourself that quiet space. So today I'm conscious of it every now and then, every day. I'll give myself that bit of quiet time just to create space, whether it's to get away from the distractions and just to go spend a few minutes outside is something that allows me to get in touch with spirit. And, and at those times too, I'll go out for I'll go put my tobacco down here. Miigwech bisinda mege.